Harvey, mic up. Slate's dropped. We're live.
So welcome back, folks. We're doing a special TMZ live stream this morning because Diddy is being sentenced. A couple of things. This is going to be a long hearing. The prosecution has asked for hours to present their side of this, asking for 11 years for Diddy. And they have a lot they want to present, and they are, I got to tell you, this is going to be a really long hearing. What's going to be interesting is they are talking about, look, I think there's no issue you can call Cassie a victim because of the 2016 beating. And so what she has to say is really relevant as a victim in the case. The interesting thing is, what about Jane and Mia? The jury didn't find, at least according to the criminal standard, that they were victims. They did not find that because he was found not guilty on sex trafficking. The Mann Act has nothing to do with them. It has to do with it has to do with the sex worker.
Right, but they were
Charlie,
present for those.
Doesn't make them a victim.
Or just be ready.
I get it, but their testimony, as far as this,
It's not victim's impact, is what I'm saying. They've already testified as witnesses, but it's not victim's impact.
let me just say this. Cassie, to say that about Cassie.
No, I didn't. You didn't hear what I said at the
I think you
beginning.
said Cassie and Jane.
I said Mia and Jane.
Oh, Mia, yeah.
Yeah. but
Mia
I'm
was
saying
not part of
Cassie definitely is a
Right.
victim because the 2016 video was introduced into
Also,
evidence.
you remember the things that happened while the Mann Act was violated, like her being peed on.
Well, no. But what I'm saying to you is that would be the problem is the jury didn't find that lack of consent.
No, I get it.
And that's what I'm saying.
But at least that is directly related to the violations of the Mann Act, right? She's in the freak off when these things happen to her.
But
what
the defense argued was that was consensual. Well, no, they did.
I get that they argued that.
And the jury didn't find it wasn't, is my point. I'm not saying it was or wasn't. I'm just saying when the judge is ruling, there was no...
I'm just saying, what I'm saying is that the judge, from what I have read, will take into consideration acts of violence or that were done during these, when prostitutes were...
We'll see. But if there were acts of violence, then he would have been convicted on sex trafficking.
No.
Sure.
No.
That's what sex trafficking is. If you are violent where somebody is not consenting,
Correct.
then you are guilty of sex trafficking.
Right.
Under that law.
But will the judge take into consideration Cassie's testimony of what she says happened? I get it that the defense is going to say she was discredited and this, that, da.
Well, they found him not guilty on that.
I understand, but things that are related to the violations of the Mann Act, right? So anytime that a prostitute was hired, taken over state lines, and they had whatever encounters they had, whatever happened during those encounters should be...
Let me ask you something.
Relevant.
Okay.
Should be relevant to the sentence.
Okay, let me give you a hypothetical.
I'm just asking you.
No, let me give you a hypothetical.
How about you just answer my question?
Okay, the answer is no.
Okay, thank you.
Hold on. If two people engage...
I should be taking to law school.
If two people engage in S&M
Right.
voluntarily,
Right.
you could call that violence, couldn't you?
It depends on how they view it after the fact.
Suppose not after the fact, during the fact. No.
During the fact, sure. Okay.
If they consent and say somebody gets whipped, that would be a violent act if it were non-consensual, right?
Correct.
Okay.
It's a violent act.
It's a violent act.
It's a violent act, period, but you may be into that violent act.
If it's consensual, are you a victim?
Of what?
A victim of anything. Are you a victim?
You can't just say a victim. I don't know. Maybe a victim of something. I'm not a victim of, if I wanted that, then no, I'm not a victim of that particular act.
So his position was, and again, I'm not embracing what he's saying. His position to the jury...
Feels like you are a little
I'm
bit,
not,
but...
because I already said, Cassie can be considered a victim.
Right.
certainly based on the 2016 video, which was introduced into evidence.
Right.
She can be called a victim.
So you're saying only based on that video, and I'm saying that the things that Jane and Cassie said happened to them during the freak-offs, the judge will take into consideration. Can take into consideration. I don't know if he will, but he can.
Well,
legally.
Legally, the question is, will the judge do it if the jury found basically, look, there's no proof there was no consent there, because you got to prove no consent to whatever was done. And had there been no consent, he would have been found guilty of sex trafficking. He wasn't found guilty of sex trafficking because they couldn't find there was that lack of consent beyond a reasonable doubt. So if they're
beyond a reasonable doubt.
Well, now the question is, can the judge lower the standard?
Exactly.
And he hasn't said, no, he hasn't said. But I'm just.
He hasn't said, but he can. The law allows him to do that. I don't know if he's going to.
There might be a reversible error issue here at some point, and that's one of the things.
See, now he's going to bring up legal terms that I don't.
Because it's a legal thing. Yeah, sentencing is a legal thing. That's why I'm bringing it up.
No, I know.
It's not a baseball game.
No, but
it's a legal
explain
thing.
Reversible error.
So if the judge has a certain amount of discretion, but if he considers issues that he shouldn't, then an appellate court.
Well, what do you mean he shouldn't?
Well, that's
who determines what he should and shouldn't?
Well, ultimately,
the law does, right?
Well, but the law is not crystal clear on what the judge can consider. They don't, the law doesn't have every case and say, oh.
I mean, there are guidelines for the judge, right?
And the question is, does he go beyond the guidelines to.
Well, if he goes beyond the guidelines, then obviously that's
to call
an error.
Jane or Mia a victim and consider them as victims.
What if we lose the label victim, all right? That doesn't matter. Take the label away. Can he take into consideration the things that they either testified to or, in this case, Cassie has written this very passionate letter about what she's going through still. Can he take that into consideration?
I think Cassie's different than Mia, and
absolutely. Take Mia out of it. Cassie and Jane.
Cassie and Jane.
Cassie and Jane.
Cassie's different than Jane.
How?
Because of the 2016 video. The judge has incontrovertible evidence that he was a violent man toward Cassie. It was admitted into evidence. There's not a question about it.
Right.
It was stipulated.
Sure. I mean, we all
so
saw it. Right.
So she is in a different position than Jane.
So the fact that Jane testified to a really what sounded like, there's no video, and actually more horrific beating than what Cassie went through.
And the jury didn't buy it.
And I don't know that means that the jury didn't buy it.
Had they bought it, he would have been found guilty of sex trafficking as to Jane.
No.
Yes, it meets all the elements. It meets every element.
No, because that fight that she described was not in the middle of a freak-off. That was them. In fact, the freak-off happened after the fight, is what she said. The fight was just them at, I think it was her house, and they got into an argument, and he beat her, according to her, beat her in the closet, chased her. She ran across the street, hid in the bushes, and it went on for hours. And at the end of it, they came together, and then he said, call up so-and-so,
look,
and we're going to have a freak-off.
This is going to be the wild card. How far does the judge look at the crimes for which he was convicted and say, look, here are my parameters, or is the judge going to go beyond that? And if he goes beyond it, how far beyond it does he go? Does he consider Cassie but not Jane and Mia? Does he consider all of that? And I think that's the wild card here.
What did I hear this morning about the guidelines changed, the federal guidelines for the judge changed last year and what he can consider?
He can, look, I don't think it's clear whether he can consider beyond what was presented in court and proven in court. But I think there's still a gray area. That's why guidelines are changing.
I think the key is going to be he cannot consider anything for which Diddy was acquitted or which the jury made a decision on. The jury made a decision on violence in furtherance of a felony, of a conspiracy. But violence itself is always an aggravating factor, right? If any act is committed with violence, it's going to be an aggravating factor that can lead to more jail time. And the jury didn't consider that by itself, whether he was violent, and there was evidence. So I do think the judge has some leeway here, but it's not absolute, I think, to the point you're making.
Well, and the other thing is, remember, the defense didn't even put on a case. So, you know, one of the arguments, depending on the sentence, would be, we didn't put on a defense because we didn't think the prosecution made its case. You can't take what they said as fact because we exercised our right to rest because of a deficiency of evidence.
I do remember, and the judge made a point of this as well, Agnifilo said in his closing arguments, he made some admissions as to what they had heard. Yeah, if this was a case, I think he said something to the effect, this is a case of domestic violence, there would be a case here, but that's not what's happening.
So I want to show you guys something.
Oh,
is
this the video?
Oh, it's so fascinating. So there are a couple of things going on. I can tell you I have some recon. You know, Diddy submitted a letter saying that he was a broken man after all of this and, you know, all the stuff he said. He sent a letter to the judge. My understanding is that there is a feeling in that team that he should still talk to the judge because speaking out loud is a better connection than a letter, which could easily be written by a lawyer. And so don't be surprised if Diddy also speaks today. But this is interesting. This that I'm about to show you is part of an exhibit that they submitted as part of their request for 14 months in prison, which would effectively let him out now. So watch this, and I think it kind of speaks for itself. We're going to play you 2 minutes of it.
No. Harvey, this is our video.
Oh, wait. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry.
Refresh.
No, I thought I had it. Sorry about that.
Can't let this guy queue up a video. Right here, that's it. It's just that
Hold on.
You had
Can we
played it.
please get that story up?
It's up. It's up.
Okay, why is that happening?
Because you slow down. There it is. Nope.
Nope. What's going on here?
That's the live stream. Hang on. Release video. Hey guys, what you have it for should be probably
1.
3.
Well, we already know he's going to be sentenced. Make it 1.
All right, put it at the top.
Okay, this is it. So this is 2.5 minutes of it. We'll show you. So this is what the defense submitted.
I don't think you know, man. You gotta give her a bottle then. Know that you mean something to people. Know that you mean something to people. Like you live somewhere in people's heart. Thank you. You hear it? This country and this world we live in may have plans for y'all. I didn't listen to that. I don't want y'all to listen to it either. And I'm happy to say this is our 3rd school we have opened. This official. When we come together as a people, nothing can stop us. What I want to do with my freedom is make sure that I can make change. You will change the world.
For those of you who are just joining, again, we're showing a video that Diddy's team submitted to the judge to basically show he's a father, he's done good work. They're trying to show this video to have an impact on the judge. It'll be interesting to see what you guys think of this.
I've been to hell,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna make it.
you gonna make it. That's right. Yeah, I got something for you. Remember I told you I had a present for you?
Yeah. Ain't that pretty?
This is a heart, because you're my heart. All right?
Okay.
You my heart.
Kim Porter, who shares 3 children with Sean Diddy Combs, has been found dead.
Now I'm a full-time dad. And I'm gonna be there for you through everything, all of y'all. Thank you for loving us. Thank
Unless
you
there's
for
a
loving
freak
me.
off.
Thank you for inspiring. I've looked up to you and admired you outside of you just being my father, just you being just a great human being, a kind human being. I love how you inspire me to keep going, to never stop following my dreams, to always believe in myself. See your foot, put in that middle part.
And I did. I wanted to tell you how much I love you, how much I care for you. Thank you for being so supportive of me and my siblings' dreams, for always encouraging us to go for whatever we want. We love you. We can't wait to make more memories with you. Just want to thank you for everything you do for us. Yes. And let you know that you're loved more than you think.
I love you.
I love you so much.
I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hi, Daddy.
What do you guys think? Oh, I want to hear what they say. Are you kidding me?
Oh.
What are they saying?
Even monsters can take love. He abused that poor girl by the elevator. That was the real him. Why he forgot he was being recorded. Nothing can excuse what he's done. I don't know if it's possible to forgive him. He's a dangerous man for children to admire and look up to. So what if he is kind to people he cares about? He is a monster to others. This video is all smoke and mirrors. Sure, he's a family man with suits, but his crimes outweigh his good deeds. This video is a waste of time. He punched her when the cameras turned off. The judge ain't gonna fall for this video. This is a Diddy movie. What about the one where he drags women by their hair? He looks like he gotta film everything to make himself look sweet.
I gotta say, I think this thing lands flat. Flat. That I actually think it's a
I'm
mistake.
shocked that they
I think
were
it's a
allowed.
mistake.
I'm shocked that they were.
Mistake.
I think it's a huge mistake.
I'm shocked that they were allowed to even.
Well, they
submit.
can submit whatever they want, but
Yeah.
we've just talked about the fact that judge shouldn't consider things too far outside of what the evidence was presented at trial. Diddy could have put on evidence. He didn't.
Well, you know
Now
what's
he wants to submit something after the
Can
fact.
I tell you what's really interesting? In a way, this video opens the door for all the other people to
Right.
testify about things that he did to them that weren't even part of the trial, for people
Right.
to come in, because he's now trying to show a side that wasn't relevant in court.
Right.
So why can't they?
Why can't they?
And maybe their argument is more relevant than this.
And I think somebody in the comments asked the question, which is the great question. If we're going to see this video, let's show the other videos as well. Let's consider those of him dragging Cassie by the hair most prevalently. The prosecution could put together a really effective video that had nothing to do with the evidence put together at trial, put forth at trial. That would be devastating.
I think this is a terrible move.
I am flabbergasted by
Terrible
that.
move.
And
it's
like-
produced too. It's
exactly.
Like, it's
and it also screams of like what defendant would normally be afforded this, right? When you talk about whether someone's getting celebrity justice, the fact that he's able to put together this incredible, like that's something that we played at the Oscars
but it's not
for his
gonna,
in memoriam.
But it's
That's
not
like
it's not going to work because it's fake.
Right.
I know, but
It's so inauthentic.
It's so
inauthentic.
It's so inauthentic. This feels like some Hollywood producer is trying to get
10
over
minutes
on the
till
judge.
Yes.
KTV? Okay.
He submitted this to the judge?
Yes,
That's a mistake.
it's huge.
They're going to play it in court today. I mean, you guys just got a preview.
Are there credits at the end?
Obviously there are not cameras in the courtroom today, but that video is exactly what's going to be played in court today. So you got a little.
No, it's 12 minutes. The actual video.
that's only 2.
That's only 3 minutes.
It's 12
minutes.
minutes? That's really bad because at some point the judge is going
The
to go.
judge halfway through is going to be like, all right,
Okay,
that's quite enough.
I've seen enough.
I agree with all of this that it's going to backfire and it lands very flat. But don't you think that it's hard to watch a soaring score and not have an emotional response? Do you think the emotional response will be all
Can I tell you
negative?
what, you know what my emotional reaction is? Bullshit.
Mine too,
listen,
but it is part of his life that he does these good
It
deeds.
absolutely
and
is.
he isn't
And-
maybe soft with his
But then
daughter.
And I
you
know there was a
juxtapose
comment.
that.
I know
I
there was
agree.
a
It has nothing to do
comment
with
that
his
says
case.
the real him is the person who was beating Cassie. I agree, that is the real him, but that is also the real him. He's their
Unquestionable.
father.
Both are him.
Well, absolutely.
Both things can be true.
But two things.
One is relevant.
Number one,
to-
he had every opportunity to present all of that at trial, and he decided not
No,
to.
you can't.
No,
say
you
that.
can't do this
No,
kind of
I'll
stuff.
tell you why.
You absolutely
Not
could bring
fair.
witnesses off to say,
He didn't need to.
I understand to defeat the case, but you can't now put it up to say what a
Well,
good
no,
guy
no,
he
no.
is.
He didn't need to do that because the prosecution didn't prove its case.
I'm not arguing any of that.
But Jake,
of course he didn't need
this
to.
is the most relevant time at sentencing where you give a holistic
Right.
portrait of a person to say there are aggravating circumstances and there are mitigating. Look how good of a person I am.
So
taking me off the streets is a net negative
the
for society because I build schools. I'm with my family.
Understood. So the prosecution then has the right to go way outside of the testimony provided at trial and say he's not just a bad person in terms of what he did at trial. He's also X, Y, and Z.
And they will.
Which, well, they said they can't,
But
right?
in their papers, they're already saying, look how they're pointing to all the violence that was during the trial. They are
the evidence submitted at trial.
Right, but not the ones he was convicted on.
Well, the prosecution is relying on evidence submitted at trial. He's relying on things that are he claims to be true, by the way, which is this.
But have never been tested under oath.
But have never been tested under oath. Nobody's cross-examined about the.
Well, you don't have to testify under oath. He loves his kids. Got it. And he's sweet to his kids at times. Maybe he's not sweet to his kids at other times.
They all contain
But
multitudes.
this is such a produced kind of fake
Yeah.
version
And
that it's almost offensive.
It invites the judge to have all sorts of things that jump in his head. Like the point where Diddy says he's talking to the kids after Kim Porter's death. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to be there for you at all times.
I'm their only
And in my
parent.
head, I'm just going, unless there's a freak off, then I got to go do that first. Like, all those things are going to jump in the judge's head when they play that video.
The judge is just going to dismiss it. I mean, the bottom line is,
Will
it's
he be
not even
turned
what,
off by it?
it's not even. It's not even what the judge doesn't like. The judge is going to look at what he says is relevant. And again, the prosecution, we are told, is going to take hours, which is very interesting. The defense, I'm told, is surprised by that. So the big question is Diddy going to address the judge? And my recon is there's a split in the defense team on this, and that some people think he absolutely should talk to the judge because you need that connection. A letter doesn't create the connection. I don't know. As of last night, my understanding is no decision. There may be one now, but I'm also told Diddy is a wild card. And even if the decision is don't speak, there may be a point he
Do we know, is
I
he
want to
in-
talk.
Do you think philosophically
rec-
just that this really can change a judge's mind? The judge has done his homework, right? The judge has a prepared statement he's written out in advance, so he's going to read from. I suppose he could make little handwritten notes within
not in
that
the jumpsuit.
within that statement. I just think that maybe there's more harm to be done than good that could come from Diddy speaking. Like the judge is not going to get
Next
more
letter in what?
lenient than he's walking in.
Here's the reality.
That's what I'm saying. Is there
think
more
that
harm that
risk
could?
exists?
I don't really think so. I think the judge
Here's the
set in stone.
reality of this. I mean, I know a lot of judges
Yeah.
who sentence,
Yeah.
and they make their decision before they get on
Yes.
the bench. So this judge has a number in mind, and probably, most likely, nothing is going to move the needle from where the judge is. There may be a bombshell, but really, what bombshell is there going to be? We've heard from Cassie, and Cassie submitted her letter. You know, if Jane testifies, Jane's already testified. Mia's already testified. We know their story. We know his side. You know he's going to say, I'm remorseful, and I regret it,
Yes.
and I've learned, and all of that stuff.
Bullying?
The judge has heard it all. He's read Diddy's letter. He's heard all the testimony. He's made his decision. If there's a huge bombshell, which there's not going to be, it's not going to change.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Hey,
I agree with you.
so
Judge is on the bench, by the way.
an update from, they're in court. Diddy is wearing a white collared shirt with a crew neck sweater, a white crew neck sweater. And Mia, this just came across, Mia is not gonna, she no longer wishes to testify in court. She's not gonna make her statement in court because she said something about bullying. Now, it's not clear.
Social media.
What was it, the letter?
Due to a letter submitted by the defense that's bullying.
She found something in the letter, in Diddy's letter, bullying. I don't know.
I don't think that moves things one way or another.
No, and as we said, Mia
She's
is
a
not
main player
directly.
in the case.
This is going to be, I'll tell you, the judge has made a decision.
But can it change is the question. Like,
Yeah,
with a Hail Mary,
what-
if
what-
it can't change, then maybe he should speak.
What
Because
what could be said that is going to change the judge at
Nothing.
this point?
unless he
What is
plucks-
he going to say beyond the letter that he submitted, beyond that video? Like, It's all there already. So
Yeah, the
You
only
know,
and he's not playing up to cameras. Like to your point, which you made yesterday, I think it's true that part of this is him starting his public rehabilitation or attempting to.
Right.
But there are no cameras in court, so for him to speak, the judge.
right. They're trying to
isn't gonna be
accomplish that
anything.
with this video actually, because that is public. And
Do you,
so-
do you have a mic on? Guys, whoever's going to be doing updates needs a microphone. Well, Janet, you should have one too.
Do we have another mic for Liam?
We need a mic. We need a microphone for Liam because he's the one doing updates.
Isn't there a risk, though, that if Diddy speaks, yeah, you want the connection with the judge, that he's going to go
Turn off the
off the
judge.
cuff, that he could say something that sort of shows his hand a little bit?
Right? Because if you pluck the heartstring, you pluck the right one, and maybe the number that he has written in his statement, because I do
Yeah.
believe the judge has a prepared statement, but the number can change.
Yeah.
He can do that on the fly. And if he says the right thing, it can change for the better. I don't think there's many where it changes for the worse, because he's going to be saying such positive things unless it falls completely inauthentically.
Well, he's not
Is
gonna-
the judge going to say
He's not
20
gonna give
years?
more.
He's going to go higher.
What is he? What can he say?
Yeah.
I
What
do want
can
to
you
read
say?
a poll. So I want to read a poll because we had almost 1,000 people respond. How much time do you think Diddy will get? 1 to 4 years, 5 to 9 years, over 10 years? An overwhelming majority of 53% said 1 to 4 years.
5 to 9.
Yeah, it's going to be 1 to 4.
1 to 4.
It's 1 to 4.
I think
Yeah, your over underline
Again,
was off.
my guess,
It's not
and I'm totally guessing, but I'm kind of not. I mean, I think 40 months.
40 months.
I think it's going to be 40 months.
All right.
I think 5.5 years is my
And time served included in the 40 months, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, of
He's
course.
done, what, 18 months now?
No, he's in a year.
12,
He's in a
13.
year.
13 months?
It's going to end
Okay.
up being about 13.
So 27
But he
months.
also gets 15%
I think
credit.
he's going to have roughly.
So
over
he'll
2
be out in a year and a
And
half.
but there are other credits he gets too. He'll be out in a year with that.
That's not what the judge has indicated in any of his rulings.
No, with
In all of his rulings on bail,
Mike,
on
I don't-
denying
I know,
the
I know.
acquittal, he
All
has
right.
indicated
All
that
right,
he finds him
here it
violent.
is. Will he be in jail or out of jail on June 15th, 2027? It's a year and 8 months from now.
I will say in jail.
What's happening on June 15th? Why are you
Yeah,
picking
why
that
did you
date?
pick that? Just in
Date that
general?
I picked. I'm the MC here.
Well, no, I'd rather do 2 years from today because I think that's more likely. I think 2 years
Even
from
with
today
time
he's
served?
out. With times. Well, it's always time served.
a year.
Excuse the bookies.
What are you getting?
Janet?
Sorry, the judge just said that the tone was inappropriate and it shouldn't happen again.
Which letter?
Diddy's letter.
Really?
Interesting.
He said the tone was inappropriate and it shouldn't
Really?
happen again.
Let's pull that letter up.
It's
What do you say now?
You got the
Yeah.
letter?
He
That
doesn't even
is-
like his letter.
That
I'm on
is
your side.
really.
Wow.
I said
He doesn't even like his
5.5
letter.
is my
Can we get
preference.
Derek a mic?
Take the over.
I
Since he's
think-
gonna be
I
talking?
think
Did he apologize?
Right,
Oh,
the,
here
right,
it is.
the defense's
4.5
letter, it's Diddy.
is the over-underline.
Right.
And I take the over.
Read the
Let's
letter.
get the letter. This is really interesting.
Because they also had just talked about
Oh, I know.
the letter in terms of me.
I was going to pull it up on my computer.
And then you're like, oh,
What the
I'm
judge
not
meant
gonna
well, no,
by
I would do it on my computer.
But the judgment
Oh,
by
well, then
inappropriate
do
was
that.
too
Okay.
long.
What's the?
Dear Judge Subramanian.
Yes. Here, Charles.
Oh, by the way,
your
we
eyes,
have to
Charles.
do
Well, we
a.
would've
Oh, you have
known
it
about
printed
it,
out?
yeah.
We are going to be doing
okay, I'll clarify that.
a live talk back with our affiliate here
Hey,
in
how
Los Angeles,
come the live
KTTV?
stream's not up on the website?
It is. It's in the top story, the Diddy story.
Oh, you put it in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just to clarify, he said the defense's letter when referencing the one the tone was inappropriate, but unless there was another letter submitted.
I mean,
I
this
think
is
it's
only
that
letter.
letter.
Oh.
yeah.
So is he
I got it right
reject-
here,
is he
Charles.
reject-
I hope this letter finds you well and in good health.
I can do it in big.
spirits. Thank you for the opportunity to express my thoughts to you. First and foremost, I want to apologize and say how sincerely sorry I am for all the hurt and pain that I have caused others by my conduct. I take full responsibility and accountability for my past wrongs. This has been the hardest 2 years of my life, and I have no one to blame for my current reality and situation but myself. In my life, I've made many mistakes, but I am no longer running from them. I'm so sorry for the hurt that I caused, but I understand that the mere words, I'm sorry, will never be good enough, as these words alone cannot erase the pain from the past.
Okay, let's do this as the 4 questions where then the next person speaks at the table.
Right.
Over the past
By the
13
way,
months.
Harvey, we have to do this live
I
shot
know.
in
I have had
a
to
minute.
look in the mirror like never before. My pain became my teacher. My sadness was my motivator. I have to admit, my downfall was rooted in my selfishness. The scene and images of me assaulting Cassie play over and over in my head daily. I literally lost my mind. I was dead wrong for putting my hands on the woman that I loved. I'm sorry for that and always will be. My domestic violence will always be a heavy burden that I will forever carry. The remorse, the sorrow, the regret, the disappointment, the shame. I honestly feel sorry for something that I couldn't forgive someone else for. If they put their hands on one of my daughters, this is why it's so hard for me to forgive myself. It's like a deep wound that would leave an ugly scar. So he goes on and on and on.
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 pages here. We're not going to
read the whole thing.
What is off about
So
that tone?
interesting.
It's a very
so
standard
how about
tone.
this? Why don't you guys look for anything in the tone? We're
We
going
gotta
to
do our
talk
live
to
shot.
KTTV.
Oh, we're going to do a
Bob
live
and
shot
Jen.
now for KTTV right now, which is going to be like 2 minutes, but you can watch it. And we're going to talk about this. What?
That is in part, the prosecution said, because of a letter the defense submitted to the judge seeking to block Mia from speaking, writing that, quote, virtually everything that came out of her mouth, end quote, while on the stand during the trial, quote, was a lie.
Who's
That's the letter
was
they're
that a
referring
letter
to.
or a motion?
Well, it was a letter.
Well, no, but that would be a motion,
That was
not a
what
letter.
we wrote about that
lawyers'
yesterday.
But that's New York Times says that's what they're referring
But
to.
it was
is
all of
that.
them, Harvey, were written as letters. This is a letter from Diddy,
Yeah.
but every motion going back and forth have been these letters to the judge. Dear,
Right, it's dear
Judge
Judge,
Supermanian.
yeah.
So he could be referring to a letter written by
So
lawyers.
they said Mia was lying.
Yeah, that's what they were
What
saying.
was and what was
This
the
is the one we wrote yesterday.
what
did
was
we write about
inappropriate
yesterday?
that the judge said?
No.
What did he say?
Saying, well, he said,
Where-
quote, the tone of the defense's letter was inappropriate. Which,
Yeah.
He said that in their
Okay.
communication with the
We're
court,
gonna
They
do it over
said
there.
virtually everything that came out of
Yeah.
Mia's
We can just do it here.
was a lie.
that's the quote
we
from the
got
letter,
people in
yeah.
it.
And
Yeah,
so
no, that's fine. Yeah.
that's what the judge is saying, that when they accused Mia of lying and
Yeah.
everything that she said, that was the inappropriate comment.
Oh, and that's why Mia says she felt bullied
and that's
won't
why she
testify.
felt bullied, and that's why she's not going to
And
testify.
that letter was out of pocket. It was
Well, that's also a sign that not so fast, Diddy.
Yes.
That maybe they will consider some of the stuff that Mia said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they will.
Well, we'll see.
And especially with her saying she felt intimidated to speak in court now. Are we on with?
No, we can look over there. Okay, so we're doing a live shot for the Fox affiliate in Los Angeles. It's going to be like 2 minutes, but we'll keep you up to date. We're going to be talking. It's fine. We got
the
it.
courthouse there, where Sean Diddy Combs is
got it.
expected to be sentenced at some point
just
this
take our own
morning.
cue, Daniela.
Proceedings getting underway as we speak. You may recall back in July, a jury convicted him on 2 counts of transportation to engage
and you guys,
in
as
prostitution.
updates happen,
it comes as
we wanna
Combs
hear 'em.
is asking
So
for
interrupt us.
leniency. He wrote a letter
Okay.
to the judge expressing
This is just gonna be part of the
remorse,
what?
and remorse towards the actions towards his alleged towards those victims. Meantime, prosecutors are seeking a harsher sentence.
Joining us now to talk
Who's
more
saying
about the
this?
case is TMZ's
Who?
Harvey Levin and Charles Latsaboudier. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here this morning. Big day in courts. What can we expect from the judge? I know a lot of people are also supposed to be getting up there and speaking.
Yeah, but just so you know, we're live streaming right now. So there's going to be some
The
crosstalk.
movement, there's going to be, we're hearing updates coming in from court.
There's
Okay.
already
Yeah.
stuff going on here. The judge is pissed off at the defense for submitting a letter saying that one of the alleged victims, Mia,
Who was a former assistant of Diddy's.
former assistant of
testified
Diddy's,
about being held hostage, not held,
Kidnapped.
and she had to do a lie detector test and all that.
So in a letter to the judge, the defense said she was a liar, and the judge got in the stand and said that was inappropriate. And
By the way, she felt, and she has said she's not going to speak in court today because she felt bullied by that letter. So the judge is.
So this
admonishing them for that
resonated with
letter.
the judge. The other thing that I think is just shocking and tone deaf is the defense submitted this slick 12-minute video of showing how great a
Have you
person
guys
Diddy
played this
is.
video yet this morning?
We saw bits and pieces of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
I mean, tone deaf.
It's something else.
Tone deaf to do that. I mean, it is a produced, not authentic version of somebody's life. because juxtapose that against the Cassie video. So what they're trying to do is kind of counter that, but it looks like a Hollywood movie. And I don't think that's going to play with the judge.
Played in his in memoriam or something at an award show. And
it's interesting because it's an audience of one, really, unless it's really like an audience that, you know, they're trying to play this out in the court of public opinion, right? Maybe they're doing this now because whatever is said here for an appeal in this case, they'll be able to say all of these things and sort of get some empathy from the public.
Bob, I think you hit it on the head.
I think they're trying for that. I don't know that it's even landing with the public.
That's what they're trying. Look, they got to rehabilitate this guy. I mean, I'm going to guess. I'm going to take a wild guess, and I don't know, but they're not going to give him 11 years. And I don't think they're going to give him time served by any means. I think it's going to be like 40 months. And I may be wrong, but ultimately, he's going to get out. And he's got to start rehabilitating when all eyes are on him. I don't know that this is the way to do it, but I think that was the play.
I'm just basing it on the comments on our live stream.
Oh, they hated it.
When we played that video.
Nobody
hated it. Felt like everyone said that,
Yeah.
you know, the real him is the guy you saw beating Cassie because he didn't know he was being recorded there. All of that stuff in this video is produced. He knows that there are cameras there, and it's easy to say that he's putting on a show.
Liam, is there anything else that just happened? No.
By the way, have you guys? He's wearing. He's in white. So he's wearing a white collared shirt with a white crew neck sweater.
Just so you know, I was told last night that the prosecution is going to take hours to present their case on this. Diddy, who submitted a letter to the judge the other day, I'm told he still might speak. I think there's some conflict among his team, but he might speak. And no matter what his team says, what I'm told is he's a wild card, and depending on how he thinks it's going, he may just spontaneously say to the judge, I want to speak. But I know there's some feeling among some of that team that
he should not.
That he should.
Oh, that he should.
That a letter doesn't connect with the judge the way eyeballs do. And that.
But now, at the very start of this, you have the judge admonishing his team. Does he?
Right.
Does that make him feel like? It's not a very good way
to start off.
It's not. It's a terrible way of starting off.
But that may make him feel like, okay, I need to save this.
Right. And that may well be the case. So he may. I'll tell you, if I had to bet on this, I don't see how he doesn't at this point. I mean,
when you think about ego,
fighting for his life, he's always managed to get out from under a situation. And I would be surprised if he just sits there silently all day.
Because now he can speak. We know that he had talked to his team about wanting to take the stand during the trial, and obviously they talked him out of that. But now he may feel like I've got nothing to lose.
The big thing in this case is, does the judge look at the Mann Act, which is simply taking a prostitute across state lines for the purpose of sex? That is not considered a terrible crime in the greater scheme of things. But does the judge consider violence, which isn't part of the Mann Act, was part of the trial, but it didn't land with the jury because they found him not guilty on those counts. So how much, if any, does the judge consider violence in sentencing him for the Mann Act, which is not a violent crime?
He has
and
brought
that's
it
the
up,
issue.
but the judge has brought up
So
violence.
we're hearing a lot from Diddy.
Hearing.
He may actually speak himself. We saw the video itself. Cassie Ventura is not expected, to make some sort of an impact statement, but maybe maybe some of the others may speak, because you would imagine the judge would want to hear from the victims.
Well, Mia's not going to speak. She's just said it.
Mia was going to. She was going to speak. The other one that may speak is Deontay Nash. Jane is not going to.
So those are really the three people: Jane, Cassie, and Mia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it really depend on one person actually speaking in court today. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking the reputational damage. Would he even dream of relaunching a career?
Well, Jen, I will say this to you. What would you have said back a few, 6, 7, 8 years ago, when you saw the pictures of Rihanna after Chris Brown beat her? People said that about him, and yet he's filling
on a tour
arenas
right now.
Yeah. So I know what you're saying, but taking a snapshot is unreliable. So if you think back then, where you had that image of Rihanna's face, everybody said Chris Brown over and out. It just wasn't true.
Right. All right. Really interesting, great stuff you're doing there, watching this trial and doing a deep dive there in real time. Great job there from Harvey and Charles there over at TMZ.
All
Thanks,
right.
Thanks for your help this morning.
We'll see you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
See you guys.
Let's see what happens today.
Liam, anything?
The defense says acquitted conduct cannot be considered. There's no guidance from this on any court. Acquitted conduct can be considered. He cites a court case. U.S. objections, they argue for the criminal sex abuse guideline. Judge says there's little precedent on what type of threats required. Bodily harm makes the most sense to force Jane and Miss Ventura to engage in sex acts. Does this conduct establish the convicted conduct? There was the flight in Cannes. That's it.
Okay.
Just going over that.
So, look, yeah, I'm a little surprised when I heard last night that prosecutors were going to take hours. I suppose that could change, but that's what they told the judge. So this could go all day long. And as a matter of fact, I have a podcast today with Mark Garagos, who is part of this, and we're supposed to do it at 1 o'clock today. And Mark gave me a heads up. That may not happen. It may go beyond that, which is 4 o'clock Eastern time. So, we will see. Just so you know, in about 20 minutes, we're going to go down for an hour because we have to shoot our morning meeting for our other television show. And we're going to have to do that, which is going to take an hour. Then we're going to come back up at 9, and then we'll 9 o'clock Pacific time, 12 Eastern, and then we will just carry it through until we get a verdict in this case. But not a verdict, excuse me, a sentence. Look, I think the judge has made his mind up. I mean, this judge has heard everything. He's heard all the testimony. He has read all the documents. It's been briefed like crazy. The judge knows what he's going to do. And unless there is a huge bombshell, I think whatever is in the judge's head when he walked up on the bench is going to be the sentence that Diddy gets. And could there be a big bombshell? No. I mean, I don't see anything. All of the people who are going to talk to the judge, I think just about everyone, if not everyone, they've already testified. So their story has been told. And what Diddy says, I mean, what is he going to say? I'm sorry, worst day of my life. It's what he said in the letter. And, he'll repeat that in essence if he ends up speaking. So I just don't see anybody moving the needle here. And I think what this judge has already determined is what the judge is going to do. This judge did not take the stand this morning and say, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll listen to everything. This judge knows what he's going to do. Judges know. I've done this a long time. I know a lot of judges, and they make decisions, and almost never do they change their mind. They've heard it all. So this, in a way, is more theater than law.
We did drop another poll about the video. Do you believe the video could give an impression on the judge at all? 52% said nope, tone deaf, just like Harvey said.
Yeah.
So over half the people.
The video is for the public, and I don't think it's going over well with the public. I just think the video is a huge mistake.
And we could tell that through our comments that
it's just a huge. It was cringe. It was cringy to watch it. What else are they saying?
In reference to his career, they're just saying that he needs, just after all this or whenever he gets out, people aren't going to care about his career anymore. He should just go and be with his family, like the videos.
Do you guys remember Michael Vick?
Oh yeah.
Michael Vick, was it Atlanta Falcons?
Atlanta Falcons quarterback.
So Michael Vick was engaged in this brutal dogfighting, and people were outraged at it. And everybody said, he's done. He came back as quarterback of the Falcons.
Or came back as the quarterback of the Eagles.
The Eagles,
Yep.
excuse me. The Eagles. And everybody wrote him off. They wrote Chris Brown off. So I don't think you can do that. I don't think, especially post-cancel culture. Especially post-cancel culture. Because cancel culture went so far that there's this reaction against it that you don't want to cancel people. And I'm not saying he's going to be or not going to be. I'm just saying you can't count it out.
I think this is a considerable difference between Diddy and Chris Brown. We saw the effects of Chris Brown beating Rihanna. We did not see the actual beating.
That's
and
true.
That's harder for people to let go of.
Well, hold on. I agree with you, but there's one thing. You're right, but we never saw the damage he did to Cassie. We did see the damage.
Yeah, we did. There were photos in the trial.
I mean, there were photos in the trial, but I don't believe there were photos of the beating. I think there were photos of other instances.
I can't remember specifically, but again, my point is not actually seeing.
They're both pretty bad.
They're both bad. Oh, I'm not saying one is. I'm saying for the public to let go of something.
What?
Right.
They're both horrible. But when you see what Chris Brown did to
let go of something, seeing the person, this celebrity in this case, actually do it, makes it harder to let go of.
You know what another difference is? Rihanna forgave him.
Right. Yeah.
Rihanna immediately
Rihanna forgave him.
Immediately. Remember they went jet skiing right after.
Jet skiing. They got back together a couple of times.
Yeah.
The judge has spoken and said, Sean Combs objected to the characterization of Miss Ventura and Jane as victims. That is overruled. He also objects to the
Whoa.
Hold on.
That's a big deal.
It's a very big deal because on the Mann Act conviction, it's the transportation of the prostitutes to go have sex with
No, that's a huge
But they were
deal.
only victims in the RICO sense and in the sex trafficking, force, fraud, and coercion.
Right, that's a huge
So he's going to
deal.
consider them as victims
That's
for purposes of sentencing.
a big deal.
That's
It's a very
a
big
big
deal.
deal.
And it means that his head is in the space of violence and victimhood, and that indicates or suggests to me that he will go with a stiffer sentence.
Well, hold on. I just want to stick to that for a sec.
There's more to that. Judge says there was Jules and Paul and Cabral, Jules, Reggie,
the sex
Rico.
workers.
As to coercion, when something is voluntarily, something's voluntarily, it is uncompelled. That is from Black's Law Dictionary. It's a broad concept. The threat to release videos and to Jane's home, that's coercion.
Okay, so this is
the case.
So the judge is saying even though the jury didn't find that happened beyond a reasonable doubt, because had it, they would have been convicted of you would have been convicted of sex trafficking.
Right.
So the judge is saying even though it wasn't proven beyond a reasonable doubt, don't tell me I can't look at it. I'm going to look at it, and I consider them victims.
And for sentencing, the standard's lower for you have to.
He's also said just previous to this.
I may go up on that 40 months.
He also said that in terms of the violence that happened in the acquitted conduct, so the conduct that the acquitted
all of the
conduct,
stuff we're talking about,
he can still consider the violence that occurred in the relationship, despite the fact he was acquitted on the violence.
Okay, well, this is the
game
core.
changer.
This is the core of the case.
And it sounds to me like he's a little bit relitigating the case.
Well, he's not relitigating.
He's saying it's a lower standard, and I can
consider the facts. It doesn't have to be reasonable doubt for sentencing.
For sentencing purposes.
And
I have up to 10 years per charge, and I'm going to look at every mitigating and aggravating factor.
It's a very.
You can't change. No, you're locked in.
No,
of course it can go up.
No, it's not dynamic. I'm the only one on the over 5.5.
I'm going up.
Where are you going, though?
I'm going to 5.
That's where I've been at 5.
I'm going to still take the over on 5.5. What about you?
I'm going to.
Charles is at acquittal.
Charles is free Diddy outside.
I just want to make sure everybody understands this. What the defense was saying and trying to get the judge to do was to say, look, Judge, there was a lot of testimony about violence and kidnapping, rape, all sorts of things. You can't consider that because he was acquitted on sex trafficking, and those things were brought in to prove that offense. Because the jury found him not guilty, the only thing you're left with is the Mann Act. And all the Mann Act requires for a conviction is to prove that Diddy had a sex worker transported across state lines and he paid them. That's the element of, those are the two elements of the Mann Act. You don't have to show violence, and the jury didn't find violence beyond a reasonable doubt, or else they would have found him guilty of sex trafficking. What the judge is saying is, nope. The judge is saying, I can look at what Jane and Cassie and Mia and others said about Diddy's violence. I am not bound by a verdict that requires proof beyond a reasonable doubt. I think what he's saying is, I can consider something lower than reasonable doubt.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a question. If you're Diddy sitting there listening to these preliminary objections being overruled that are unfavorable to you, that he's going to consider this.
It's a core of the case.
Yes, and does it change your point of, is he going to say something and throw a Hail Mary?
Yes.
Now this changes that whole calculus because the judge is leaning clearly, quite clearly, in the direction of a stiff sentence. Now I think you throw the Hail Mary.
No,
I really do.
I don't think he'll say anything.
Well, it can't get worse. He's leaning so heavy.
You may be right. What's he going to say?
Right. What is Diddy going to say?
He's leaning.
No. Is in Diddy's head, Diddy has gotten out from under every criminal conviction.
I think they are telling him, his attorneys are going, don't say anything.
I know.
Don't say anything.
I think they are. But
can it get worse?
He can get, it can go up to 10 years for each count. So don't say anything.
So by the way,
so it can get worse.
Diddy, O.J. Simpson's lawyer told him, don't talk to the police, and he did.
Yeah. Well, that was in the fog of like.
Clients can do whatever they want. That's true. Diddy can do whatever he
If
wants.
Diddy wants to stand up and speak, he's going to say, it's my life. I'm going to do it.
But who is he speaking to at this point? Just the judge? That is going to fall on deaf
That's the
ears.
only person he should be caring about right
the
now.
most unconvinced person right now. So
you got to look at the backdrop here. In 1999, Diddy was prosecuted for that shootout where Jennifer Lopez was in the car. Not guilty.
Yeah.
He's found not guilty. There were other instances where Diddy skated. So even here, he was found not guilty on all the major charges. So in his head, he can make stuff happen.
Yes, he's filled with charisma.
Yeah, but
so
he
the
didn't
judge has
speak.
specifically cited that he can employ the enhancements relating to coercion. So we know we're at a baseline of a sentence of a.
I may go up beyond 5, but
we
think
now
I'm
have an
skipping.
enhancement for coercion. So that sentence is getting larger.
He's talking about enhancing for the crimes for which he was found not guilty. He's talking about enhancements on the coercion
but you say not
aspect.
guilty. He is talking about evidence that he says he can consider and clearly believes.
Sentencing is a broadly discretionary act, and he's using all of his discretion. It sounds like he's indicating he'll take it all into account.
The defense right now, they better have a lot of deodorant on because they are sweating. They're sweating. These are
bad tea leaves.
They haven't had a win. Nothing's gone their way since this has started.
None of it.
This is real.
Ruling.
We're less than an hour into it. So
I think that, look,
you can't turn this ship.
The judge, hold on. The judge is laying out all the factors the judge can consider. I don't think we want to suggest that just because the judge is saying he can consider enhancement,
that he is going to actually apply.
He is going to, and that it's going to be a large enhancement.
Here's how we can. He's had multiple hearings where violence drove the judge into saying no bail.
Yeah.
Even after the conviction. See, the big one is when he was convicted, they said, Your Honor, he was convicted of a nonviolent crime. Let him out. So if the judge wasn't going to consider violence, he would have granted him bail. He didn't grant him bail, and he said it was because of violence.
Correct.
So
he's convicted of a violent crime.
2 months removed from
his
that feeling.
head is there.
His head is in that he is a violent person who doesn't.
We all
deserve to be
came
on the
into
street.
this morning with a certain sort of prediction in our head about where this is going to land. I don't think the judge's words have completely overthrown that.
They've suggested it. They've moved
really,
in a
isn't the
direction.
judge just saying? Isn't the judge just clearing up because the defense raised it, saying you shouldn't apply these things.
The judge
is saying
motions. That's what the judge
the
is
judge
doing.
is saying I can apply it. He's not saying, to your point, he's not saying I'm absolutely going to.
Hold on.
That is contradicted by reality. He has not expressed remorse for transporting people for prostitution. Combs has challenged his guilty full-throatedly, including after trial.
Okay.
That's just what I said. I said he's fought tooth and nail to even throw out the 2 Mann Act convictions,
So
and
it's
that's going to weigh
the
on
lack
the
of
judge.
remorse for the convicted charges.
And no remorse is a buzzword.
Does Liam
for
have a
high
mic?
sentence.
He does. Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Can you hear me?
Why?
Well, that's
No,
the
he is
old
on a mic.
prostitution that we've been paying for sex.
Okay, so what Liam just said, apparently there was a microphone issue. We should try to fix the mic issue, by the way.
Checking.
Yeah, he was
Thought it was.
So what Liam said was that Diddy has
Yes, it's
expressed
on.
no remorse for
Transportation.
transporting sex workers across state lines. He has not taken accountability for it.
Wow.
Well, that's the buzzword of sentencing. In every sentence you hear acceptance of responsibility as a mitigating factor.
Just
100%.
Yeah, that's true.
And if
He
you
also
don't-
said, which I think we've all talked, it makes common sense. Diddy's claim that he was paying for the the men's time and not the sex
Was sophistry.
is belied by reality.
Which
and
is
that's what
preposterous.
every person who hires a prostitute says that. I wasn't paying for
Of
the
course.
sex, I was paying for the time. Judge ruled that
He
out.
threw that out on the acquittal motion and the new trial motion. So he's already said that. But now he's saying and throwing in his face that you have fought tooth and nail to acquit. Now, to your point,
He's saying no remorse. He said
no
no
remorse. He's saying you fought tooth and nail even after
And by the way,
guilty verdict.
we should explain.
But there's
We
no
read-
remorse in the letter?
If you read the letter, what his remorse was about the violence, not about the Mann Act. He never addressed the Mann Act in the letter. He expressed remorse about the violence.
and he said, I'm in this situation.
And what the judge specifically said was, you expressed no remorse about violating the Mann Act, which is true. Maybe he should have put that in the letter.
I get
to your point,
Yeah,
his
but
lawyers
the
had to
problem is,
file these motions.
The reason he couldn't is because they've made a legal argument it doesn't apply,
You're right.
and they want to appeal this.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But I don't like the judge holding against him that he's zealously trying. His
I-
lawyers
I-
are trying
with
to
you.
throw out to acquit him on the 2 remaining charges. They do that so they're not sued for malpractice.
You can argue things in the
you know what I'm
alternative
saying?
too, right? He's guilty, but if he is guilty, if he's not guilty, but he
But in
is
the
guilty,
letter,
did argue in the-
but all that's true. But in the letter that he wrote to the judge,
The contrite letter?
yes,
Just on
that's
the
where he
laptop
should
coming.
just say.
Did he not include in there? Like, I'm sorry
No,
for
he
all
did
of
not.
my conduct?
He didn't say the Mann Act.
Could you? All right. I figure we should.
What?
There's more stuff.
So they also denied, it says, Mr. Combs objects to the $5,000 assessment under the statute because there are no victims. Denied.
That's okay. That's minor.
It's just more of an indication.
That's minor. I mean, look, there's a kind of a metaphor, The Gambler by Kenny Rogers. You got to know when to hold him and know when to fold him. The prosecution is winning so much right now that even though they told the judge yesterday that this was going to take hours, they may pare that down because
yeah, I like that. You don't have to gild the lily here.
Yeah.
We're set.
We don't need an hour of witnesses.
Right.
His mind is in
well,
that
and not
space.
just that. Sometimes when you put it out there, you don't know what you're going to get back from the other side. Why do
That's
that
right.
if the judge is already
You don't want to
ruled
take the
out?
risk of upsetting the
So
apple
now
cart.
I'm thinking maybe this will be shorter than the prosecution expected.
So we think that. We also think Diddy might not address the court now
I think
at all.
I think it makes it more likely he
So
will
we
address.
could
I
be done
agree
pretty
with
soon.
He will
you.
address
It's
the
now
court.
Hail Mary time. The ball's rolling downhill on top of him. He's going to chuck a Hail Mary.
I think so too.
Like,
No. You run the risk of it getting worse.
It can get worse. No, you're thinking logically.
yeah.
My
You're
bad.
not. You got
You're not
to.
gonna
No, you
put
got to
yourself
get in his
in
head.
Diddy's
But
ego?
He has won.
Yes.
He has won just about every case he's ever.
But
been
he
involved.
hasn't. But he didn't win because he addressed the court in any of those cases.
I know, but he thinks he can do it.
Charles, he's looking at the lawyers. He's like, these
This
guys
is
let
a-
me down. It's Diddy
But if
time. He
starts
puts on his
speaking,
superhero uniform
The
to throw
judge
it.
is going to. He might really piss
I'm
off.
not
the
saying
judge.
it's
be accurate.
I'm not saying it's the right
You're
thing
saying
to
he's going to
do.
overrule Agnifilo and just start speaking,
Yes.
which is his right. He can do it.
Yes.
It's his right,
Fool.
and he feels like they're letting him
Yeah.
down. They've lost every motion.
A man who represents himself as a fool for a client, right?
You should listen to lawyers. I agree. But
Not
this
necessarily always.
These are not just
It's like
rulings.
ridiculous.
I'm telling you, now you look at the bail hearing and what he did with violence.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big
predictive.
element of
Yeah.
this case.
Yeah.
So what?
Of the sentence. Violence is going to be a huge element of the sentencing. And he said, I can consider enhancements
Yes.
because of violence.
Yes.
no one's thinking 1 to 4 anymore, huh?
So I'm so off that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm at
I was
5,
so
and now
off.
I'm thinking
Me
up.
too.
So we
That's
put
where I
in
was.
our predictions. Jim, what's
Yeah,
everybody saying?
because everybody said before 1 to 4.
Not me.
Have you changed your mind now?
We can. Okay. We'll update.
Yeah, have you changed your mind?
All right. Well, actually, in the comments,
yes.
a lot of
The
people,
majority
as you
of it.
started increasing the potential sentencing, they were as well, where they're saying now it could be more than 4 years.
I think it's easily 5.
Usually the wisdom of crowds. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's easily 5.
Let's slow our roll just a little bit.
You know, I know this sounds insane. I know this sounds insane.
20.
And I'm going to say it.
No.
And I'm not embracing it, but I'm going to say it. What if Diddy gets up and says, Your Honor,
Take that.
I now can appreciate what Donald Trump went through with the federal government.
Oh,
because
no.
That's the smartest thing you possibly do.
Play for your
Smartest
pardon,
thing.
dude. Play for your pardon. You're losing in sentencing. Play for the pardon.
I
Talk
know
to
what
the
it is
president.
like to be victimized by an overzealous
Yes.
federal prosecutor, and that's exactly what is happening here. Donald Trump suffered from this, and I'm suffering from this now. We need to rise up against the corrupt judicial system in this country.
You're shaking your head.
Ron?
It's the only play. It's the only play.
But Trump already said it.
No,
but sweet
no,
talk.
but
No,
before he appealed
but
to
Trump
him.
said, oh, he wasn't
he said
nice
bad
to me
stuff.
during the election. He didn't slam the door. Donald Trump, if this would resonate with Donald
Trump's
Trump.
capacity for forgiveness is bottomless.
And
His vice
as
president
long as
called
you
him
appeal
Hitler,
to
said
him,
he was
right.
akin to Hitler, and he forgave him enough to have him on his ticket. If Diddy says Donald Trump is...
I'm actually serious.
And I'm hereby donating $100 million to Trump 2028. And it's over at
But he
that
doesn't have
point.
to say
Okay,
that.
he's not gonna say that.
No, he doesn't have to say that. But if
you really
he,
want to spike the football.
I'm just saying, if he says that I now understand what the president went through, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Thumbs his nose at the judge.
Do you guys think that's crazy? Do you guys think that's crazy? I'm not saying it's right, but do you think? I mean,
Is there a
where's he
red
going to
hat
go? Is he going to say,
under the
"Oh, Your
desk?
Honor, you can't"? Who are you
Is
going to
there a
believe, me or
red
your
hat
lying
under the
eyes?
desk?
He would
Or
be
he's
an idiot
tattooed his
if you were to
lower
bring
back
up
and he
Trump.
Why? I mean,
he has
if
a
he's
red
going to go
sweater
for a
and just rips
pardon,
the white
why
out.
not?
He's coming home. Diddy's been talking crap about Trump.
I know, but J.D. Vance called Donald Trump Hitler, and he's vice president because he got on board.
Christian will...
In fairness, he called him the American Hitler, not the German.
The family's all there, right? Christian's going to open a
family's
briefcase,
all
and there's
there.
going to be a red
We
MAGA
did an
hat.
updated poll. I want to read that.
Yeah,
with the
He
times.
throws it over.
What's
Breaking
poll?
case of
Breaking case of
Hold on.
emergency.
What's poll?
So we re-asked the question about the sentencing.
Yep.
Have you changed your mind? How much time do you think he'll get? 1 to 4, 5 to 9, or over 10?
They'll say 5 to 9 now.
42% said 5 to 9 years. So that's a significant shift.
Everyone came over to me.
I want to know whether you guys think
It's unseemly.
that he's going to raise the Trump card.
No, it's
because
exactly what we expect.
what else does he got? What else has he got?
Okay, we'll drop
What
it.
else has he got? And the reality is that shit works with Donald Trump.
Will Diddy fold?
Absolutely.
Exactly. He forgives. If you flatter him in the moment, he forgives. Even your past transgressions with, he was obviously supportive of Kamala and so forth. He was recently against Donald Trump, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
And the thing that animates Donald Trump more than anything is
Flattery.
victim of, federal,
Do you think the
retribution.
victimhood matters more than the flattery? I think the flattery is what gets him going, not that we share the same position.
No. When he
We were
gets up and
also-
says, "I am your retribution," I've been,
we're the same kind of victim.
Huge matters.
Both things happen,
Hugely
right?
matters.
You say we're the same kind of victim, and then you flatter the hell out of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they dovetail. I agree.
All right. Okay, so we got to do the show. Okay,
Hang on, real
so
quick.
we're going to go down. Well, hold on. Jim.
Will Diddy pull the Trump card? It is evenly split right now, 50%.
Wow.
51, 49%, back to 50-50.
So this is going to be really interesting. We got to go down for an hour to do our other show. We are going to do that, and we're going to come back up, and we'll be up for, through the verdict.
9 or 9:30?
9:15. How's that?
Deal.
9:15 Pacific, 12:15 Eastern.
Okay.
See you then.